Good morning, Chad. It's still morning. It's quarter till noon, so I get to still say that. Good morning, everybody. It's rat time. What is going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful morning / afternoon, maybe even evening, depending where you're at. What is going on, people? We're painting Skaven today. I've been painting some Skaven in off stream. I'm going to show you how to do it. No fancy enamel paints, no white spirits, no toxic alcohol-based paints, none of that. We're doing it classic, baby. All acrylic. I'm going to show you how to paint them fast to a quality that's pretty cool. Because, god damn it, you don't have your whole life. Listen, we're only on this earth for so long. And I'll be damned if any of you are sitting there going like, man, I have to paint every single clan rat in my army list that has 120 clan rats to like the maximum quality. Nah, brother. Nah, sister. You gotta get those things on the table. Clan rats? Who cares? They're gonna die in 10 seconds anyway. You wanna know how you prioritize your army painting? You look at your Horde army, and you go, well, any army in general, and you go, what are the things that are actually important? Usually it's characters. And especially for Horde armies, that's damn true. So you look at, like, your Grey Seers, your Warp Block Engineers, your big centerpiece models like what is it, like a Brood Horror? Or like the Brood Thingamabob? Let me look it up. What is it called? It's not a Master Molder. Is it a Molder Abomination? No, that's Hell Pit Abomination. Brood Terror. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, like your Brood Terror. Things that are on, like, big bases. Yeah, you want to put some effort into those things, maybe. But even then, like, whatever. I could see somebody, like, doing the method that we're going to be painting our Skaven today and, like, just going, like, bam, 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 get it all done. And then spending, like, 40 hours painting Physic Scour. Because, I mean, Chad. What was that? Hold on. That did not... Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I mean, Chad, come on. That's a centerpiece. That's a centerpiece right there. God damn. I could totally see somebody being like, yeah, let's bust out like 80 clan rats in an afternoon. But then I'm going to spend like 4 hours today just doing like Physic Scour's horns. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You prioritize your effort on the thing that people are going to be like, yo, you know what I mean? If I was playing with somebody and they had like 8,000 clan rats, I'm going to be like, yeah, those are cool. And if they're like kind of shitty sometimes, you know, like there's some paint like not perfectly on the eyeball or whatever, like whatever, it's a clan rat, I don't care. But I'm going to look, like your eyes are going to just drift over like, oh, there's a sea of clan rats. Ooh, Physic Scour. Gracier Thanquil on Bone Ripper. Chad, do we know which Bone Ripper this is? Like, what number we're at? Is this, like, Bone Ripper 87? As I was assembling the clan rats, I realized I appreciate mono pose models a lot. The more hornier a squad gets, my phone autocorrected to hornier. Dude, okay. Thank you, because I was going to mention that as well. I assembled 20 of the... Well, a little over 20. But I have the Skaven Tide box that member of the community Sloth very graciously got to me. It was very sweet. I paid them, obviously. They didn't give it to me for free. That's ridiculous. And I assembled the clan rats. I assembled the clan rats, the giant rattling gun, the Grey Seer, the Warplock Engineer, and the rat ogres. I'll show you them as we go through the painting desk and stuff. But dude, the clan rats, I was so worried. I was like, oh god, I hope these don't have like 8 different parts. No. Most, if not all, the clan rats, it's 2 chunks. Not a lot of mold lines. It's 2 chunks. You put them together, you're done. Does Thanquil have warp Warp Stone Horns. Yes. Over under of Ava painting a clan route like Wygor from Legends of Evantris. I need to catch up on that campaign because I fell off Legends of Evantris just because I fell off most D&D things that I was listening to. But I'll get back into it. I'm listening to some stuff from World of IO. I need to get back to Legend of Evantris. You know what I need to start watching more often? I started one of the campaigns, but I need to do more. Narrative Declaration. Narrative Declaration does some good stuff. And also, shameless plug, my buddy does the shorts editing for Narrative Declaration. And he does good work. You should go watch those shorts. They're very high quality. They're good. No, I love all the people from Narrative Declaration. Good people. I've wanted to get into the dropout campaigns, but from what I understand, you have to like pay a sub to watch them. But I don't know. I haven't actually like pursued the knowledge to get that stuff done. You know what I mean? So I haven't actually sat down and gone like, how would I watch this? You know what I mean? Love me some Speaker D. No, like the entire Narrative Declaration crew is great. Like they're very sweet. I mean, I work with some of them to get the videos done, you know what I mean? Every so often I go to like the crew from the Alpha Boosta people and I'm just like, hey, are you chill with like voicing a Warhammer character again? I'll pay you $200. And they're like, damn, okay. Dropout is $7 a month. Okay, that's not terrible. I think people gripe too much about kit bashing monopose models. I have gorilla mitts, and I have no issue handling and cutting little bits hidden on the monopose crevices. Well, my thing is, I saw someone complaining about the customization of clan rats on like the Skaven community Reddit a couple days ago, and I was like, it's a Horde army. I don't necessarily understand wanting to customize the Horde. You know what I mean? Like, the point isn't the individuality of every single little clan rat. It's the point of the swarm. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part where I'm like, I don't think you need customization for little shitty 1 HP guys. I'd be like, dude, what about my customization for my Termagants and like a Tyranid army? It's like, I don't know, dude. It's a fucking Termagant. Drown them in our debt. Yeah, exactly. It's the Horde, man. It's not about the little guy. I actually have an appreciation for Horde armies now. Because once upon a time, I was like, why would I ever play a Horde army? That's so much work. But now, after painting some of the Skaven, I'm like, oh, yeah. What you're supposed to do is you just, like, bang out the shitty little swarm of guys. And then your characters is where you really, like, focus. Do you have any Gloomspite gits you'd recommend for 40k Grot stand-ins, just to make them a bit more unique? No. Grots in AOS, the Gloomspite gits are so unique and so different from Grots in 40k that I don't know. Like, obviously, you could totally ignore me and be like, fuck you, Ava, whatever. But I feel that visually they're so different, it is going to be much harder to translate them to 40k. Also, like, I had a conversation with a GW employee about this. I was at a Warhammer store a couple months ago when I was still in Vancouver. But we had a conversation about this because that was when I was picking up the Nemesis Claw, and we were talking about like the armies that I play and the games that I play and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I do like a lot of AOS. I do a lot of like Slaves to Darkness. And he brought up like, oh yeah, well you could like take AOS models and make them for 40k, but it's a lot harder to make 40k models into AOS. And I feel that definitely varies on the faction that you're talking about, because I've seen a lot of people take Stormcasts and make them into like Chaos Marines, or Slave to Darkness and make them into Chaos Marines, and it relatively fits. You get kind of confusing around like where the backpacks should be and stuff like that. You just add some like copper wire and things and you should be fine for the most part. But then you get to like Gloomspite Gits and translating them into like an orc army, which that's a little tougher. That's a little tougher. My love! Good morning. Good morning, baby. What armies do you play? Answer yes. I saw someone in, while the music was going before I started talking, ask how many armies does Ava have? Full armies? Like 0. Actually, no, that's not true. I have a Slaves to Darkness army that I believe is over 2,000 points. If we go by Abraxia's last war scroll that she had with the Scourge of Gyran, where I think her points went up, but she became like an actual character and not just like a buff entity for Vanguard. So I have a Slaves to Darkness army. I have a lot of Ultramarines. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't collect things because I'm like, ooh, this would be good for a list. I collect things because I see it and I go, ooh, that's cool, and then I pick it up. I got the Skaven Tide box because I like Skaven and I like Stormcast, and I was like, you know what? Genuinely, this is good for a work thing because I can get the core rule book, look through it, and there's some cool stuff in there, especially with like some info about like the realms and how I've talked about this in a previous stream. I think the realms overview in the core rulebook is cool if you know what the realms are already, because they're all first-hand accounts of people living there, and that's pretty neat. But if you're just getting into it, I can see how it's a little hard to... Okay, I can see the argument of people going, the realms are kind of confusing. I get that. But at the same time, they're not that confusing. Like, come on. You've seen fantasy settings with multiple... Fucking Norse mythology did this shit back in the day, and people were like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense. And then people today are like, it's too hard to understand. I need Imperium Planet number 4 Conjillion. It's the same exact planet as the other ones, but this one's a little more sandy. But yeah, I have like a lot of miscellaneous shit. I have like a team of Underworld Grots. I have a lot. I think the most models I have is for Chaos Space Marines, and that's due in part to the fact that it's like a community army. But again, I have ADHD, so I need other projects. That I need more than one project happening at a time, because if I don't, I will go nuts. I will get burnt out. I'm not going to finish it. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of funny that actually Realm of Fire is the most normal of all the realms. Relatively normal. It's still like rains fire. Like, but then you get to like Shaman and you're like, what do you mean there's no ground? It's like, oh yeah, it's just the firmament is nothing but little tiny sub-realms that are all made of different metals. Oh yeah, you want to go to the silver deserts? You want to go to this bronze lake? Like, what the fuck? What the hell is this? Northside gender fluid trickster gods who would shapeshift and fuck horses. AOS doesn't have that. Wrong, actually. Wrong. Everyone point and laugh at this fucking idiot. I love the Mortal Realms, but I think they could have grounded... They could be grounded by having a central normal-ass fantasy world that they all orbit around. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that, but I think that's why they've made Akshi be, like, kind of normal. Akshi is supposed to be your... Yeah, it's the Realm of Fire, but, like, compared to all the other realms, it's like, it's alright. How do you manage to finish any of your projects? Okay, let me tell you. I haven't. I'm looking at a bunch of Khorne Berserkers and what used to be Wordbearer Space Marines, and I'm looking at them and I'm remembering I must have painted them and then stripped the paint from them like 7 or 8 times. And like part of me streaming these, honestly, is to incentivize me to actually finish these projects. You know what I mean? And a lot of that comes from the fact that I am an artist. I am a perfectionist. So, like, a large part of my hobby journey for a while was, like, looking for... A lot of it was me practicing different techniques and going, what do I like? What do I like the result of? And, like, I did the heavy metal type painting for, like, an ultramarine. And I was like, wow, I kind of hate this, actually. And then there was the, like, I did the slap chop thing, and then I did this and that, and I was like, this is, like, exclusively for Space Marines, just to give an example. And I just never really liked anything. And then I came across Monument Hobbies, and they did a really cool video on them painting Ultramarines, and I went, wow, that's really cool. And I took it, and I made it my own, and I have my own little Ultramarines, and I love them. I love them a lot. It's my... It took me, like, not a solid year, but what feels like a year to find, like, the perfect blue for my Ultras. And I'm very happy with that. And also get them on the model in such a way that is manageable for my ADHD and also looks really good to me. That's a big thing for me, is that does it look good, or am I satisfied with it at the end of the day? If I'm not satisfied with it, but technically I'm doing, like, the right thing or whatever, I hate that. This is why I'm a big fan of not listening to YouTuber clickbait when it comes to painting, where they're like, you use a slap chop technique, you should die. Like, that's obviously I'm being hyperbolic, but like, I will never, ever, ever, ever put down a painter for painting the way that makes them happy or makes them satisfied. Because if there's somebody who, like, they only do the dry brush from a black base, you dry brush the gray, then you dry brush the white, and you just fucking drown it in contrast paint, I don't give a fuck. Are you happy? Do you like that? Amazing. Perfect. You're better than 90% of the painters out there who just never get their projects done. You fucking did it. And that deserves respect, in my opinion, in this hobby where it is notorious that people just never finish shit. Slap chop, you plebeian. It's called underpainting. We just call it slap chop because that was the trendy name. Ava, are you going to buy an airbrush? Okay, so here's my thing. I would love an airbrush, but I would only use it to prime minis. I'm being so genuine with you. I would only use it to prime miniatures. Maybe a base coat. But even then, like, you've seen me paint. I've talked about it constantly. Like, I don't give a shit if there's texture on my miniature because I'm like, no, that makes more visual interest. I don't really like the whole, it's ultra smooth and, like, the transitions are perfect. Like, I don't really fuck with that. We've had some conversations about things like non-metallic metal, and I think non-metallic metal, while being incredibly impressive, ultimately, I think is a fruitless effort because I don't know why you would spend so long painting. Let me put it like this. Non-metallic metal in a two-dimensional image is awesome. And you look at it and you go, oh my god, that's so amazing. How did they do this detail? But here's the problem. If you are holding the mini in your hand and you tilt it even slightly, the illusion shatters. Now, you can adjust for that as a painter. There's I can't remember who made an article about this, but there was a person who made an article about doing non-metallic metal, and you have to imagine 4 different lights at each corner of the miniature, and in that way it can be really convincing from every angle. But even then, the illusion is really easy to shatter by just looking at the miniature from a different angle. I don't get the hype around NMM other than the fact of like, wow, technically this is really impressive. But honestly, I feel, and this is completely subjective, I feel non-metallic metal, largely speaking, doesn't look very good. In my personal opinion, it does not appeal to me, personally. Now, I have seen some crazy things with non-metallic metal of like, somebody painted the reflection of the environment that this miniature was supposed to be in. Like, I believe it was like a painter who, like, she painted a knight helmet, right? And in the reflection of the metal on the helmet, there was like a tournament field. And that is crazy. That's insane. And it looked convincing. It looked like a reflection. And technically speaking, that's amazing. But also, you're a crazy person. That's crazy. I mean, airbrush will also be really good for varnishing minis after you're done. True. Yeah, but I don't really buy into the whole... We've talked about this a couple times on the show. I don't buy into the elitist attitude that some painters have online. I really don't buy into it. If you don't use an airbrush, if you don't use non-metallic metal, if you do dry brushing, blah, 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 blah. I don't like that. I think paint however you want to paint. And if it makes you happy, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I have a buddy who, like, he wants to get into Necrons. He told me, like, oh, yeah, I could never... I don't want to ever get miniatures because I will never do... This is the standard that I would want. And he sent me, like, a non-metallic metal Necron of, like, who's the fucking Stormlord? Imhotep. He sent me a non-metallic metal of Imhotep, and he was like, this is what I would want to do. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Don't do that. That's silly. This is a person who is, like, spending... This is a person who... It is their job to do this. Like, they have a Patreon where people give them money so that they can see how they do the non-metallic metal. Like, that... Do not hold yourself to that standard at all. The moment this hobby... This thing that is supposed to be relaxing becomes like a, oh, I'm comparing myself to XYZ, or, oh, I'm just not good enough. The moment it stops being a hobby, stop. Readjust, recenter yourself, and go, why am I interacting with something that is supposed to make me happy if it's not making me happy? This can be extended to video games. It could be extended to any hobby. Video games, movies, tabletop gaming, whatever. If you're not relaxed, if you're not having fun, stop it. Recenter yourself, reevaluate what you're doing, and then go from there. Maybe you need a break. Maybe you're burnt out. Maybe you want to work on something else for a bit. I feel this about jobs. Jobs fucking... Ugh. Especially when, like with retail. Like, Jesus. Nah, bro, log in. We gotta clear. Dude, Sephiroth isn't gonna kill himself. Come on, man. We gotta clear Uwu today. I have a good feeling. Quote, guy who hasn't slept in a week because he's just been running Uwu. For those who don't know, in FF14 there is a event called the Ultima Weapon Ultimate. It's like the hardest Ultima Weapon fight, but to abbreviate it, we say Uwu. Ultima weapon ultimate. Ooh. I love the Ultima weapon. Dude, I think it's such the theme is great. I love the design of it. God, remember I take a long drag of my pipe like Bilbo Baggins. I blow rings and shit. Remember back in the day when Praetorium was like an hour-long dungeon? I remember you went through the whole dungeon, and then you fought the Gaius von Baelsar. Then you fought the Ultima weapon, and then you finish it off with La Habrea. I have a core memory of someone in the raid party going, guys, let's give La Habrea a chance. Only auto attack. And we were like, yes! Yes! And we did. Nobody used any abilities, no cooldowns, just auto attacks. And it was a real fight. It was a real fight when we did that. And I was like, wow, this is wild. Remember when La Habrea was part of the fight? I remember. Such caffeination. Gary just sent me an image and said, us if the whole creation thing doesn't work out. If chat, the moment this YouTube thing stops like breaking even on our finances and shit, it's over. So, hey, remember when Gary and Ava would stream like every couple times a week? Remember when they would release a video like at least sometimes? Remember? No, we're very, very lucky to be where we're at. And it's in large part due to you guys. So thank you. Would you rather all food from now on be tasteless or all liquids from now on taste like blood? What are you, a fucking Greek god cursing me? What is this? What is this? What have I done to anger you, almighty Zeus? What the fuck? What is this? What have I done? What the fuck? What the hell? Is 5 Leviathan Terminators for $40 a good deal? So those are regular Terminators. Regular Terminator squad is... Yeah, you're getting a discount. About $69 USD. So 5 Termies for $40. Yeah, you're getting a deal. If you want them. Damn, now I want to play FF14. I gotta resub. But yeah, I'm down. I'm down to play FF14. We just gotta, like, prioritize it more, you know what I mean? I want to get back into it, but it's just like... Every so often, we're just like, let's go back to FF14. Then we log in and we do, like, a couple dailies. And then we're like, okay, we'll do this tomorrow, maybe. And then, like, tomorrow never comes. We gotta be like... We gotta have somebody in the group. I'm not saying you or I, Carrie, but, like, somebody's gotta be like, yo... You wanna do FF14? Because I've noticed that fucking Gappy... I'm playing a lot of Space Marine 2 lately, and it's because Gappy has gotten into it. And he, every couple days, he's like, yo, you want to do some dailies of Space Marine 2? And I go, yeah, for sure. And then I log in for like a couple hours. We do some dailies, and then I'm done. So we need like somebody be like, yo, hey, you want to do some dailies? Yeah, we play on Zalera. Listen, the Crystal Data Center is pretty nice. Just stay far away from Balmung. Dude, every stereotype you've ever heard about Balmung, it's completely true from my biased perspective. Because every time I've ever had a problem running a raid or a dungeon or whatever in 14, I've always looked and gone, where's this person from? Huh, Balmung. Weird. It's always somebody who doesn't know the fucking mechanic, and it's not their first time. You don't get the notification of like, this is somebody's first time doing this. Like, no, no, no. This motherfucker's done this. They know. And more often than not, they're giving information about raid mechanics. That's wrong! I grabbed them. Why aren't you correct? No one listened to them. I'm the one who's right. I have the autism where I remember every mechanic. What the fuck is that, Carrie? What is this? This creature. Balmung. Balmung might be the most foul experience I've ever had in an MMO, simply from the fact of you go to Ul'dah and you go into the Adventuring Guild and you just see the wall of, like, cat girls not wearing any clothing. Like, obviously they're wearing, like, undergarments because it's an MMO for teenagers, right? But they're wearing undergarments, and there's just a wall of them. And you see, like, a little Lalafell's like, take your pick. 200,000 gil for 5 minutes. And you're like, ah! Like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. Ah! Foul, awful, terrible. The wall of pussy. I have a friend who plays a Rogadin, which if you don't know, chat, Rogadin are like giant, you know, like Goliaths in D&D. They're like that. They're big people. Now, she plays a Rogadin, and she's like, yeah, I love my Rogadin, big strong lady, whatever. I've played a cat girl in 14. I have played a bunny girl in FF14. I played a bunny boy in FF14. I have not gotten as many, like, horny whispers to my character than my friend has as a Rogadin. It's crazy. I've been sent something? John has sent this in?
Don't say it. Don't do that. Don't make it weird. Say it. Can you please crush me? Pardon me? Can you please absolutely destroy me?
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck it is about MMOs where people just go like, yeah, I'm just gonna approach this, like, this femme-presenting character and just go, oh, please. Please. I gotta. What's the species of the other player had? Makote, the cat girls. Or cat. There's also cat boys. There is something about MMOs where people take, like, the mommy joke and they... Well, it's not a joke. You know what I mean? Remember RE8? I do. I do. I get it if it's like a fictional character, but these are people. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going up to, like, Y'shtola Or like the head of Limsa Lominsa, the pirate lady, Merylwib. If you go up to her and you're like, oh, like, I get it. That's a fictional character. But if it's like a person, I'm like, maybe don't. Maybe don't do that. Pirate lady, go ham. That's not a person. That's not a real character. That's not a real human being. That's a character. You could be fictional horny all day. That's fine. But if I was just like chilling out with an MMO and playing with some friends and doing like dailies and stuff, and I get like a whisper, because this has happened, and I get a whisper of someone going like, "Hey, baby," like that gives me the ick. Oh. It's probably a dude on the other end of the model. No. Hold on. Oh, you just play lady characters in an MMO. You just play like femme characters in MMOs and video games because like you think it's more aesthetically pleasing? Interesting. 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 Curious. Curious. Why? You can be fictional. Horny was not on my bingo card when I joined this mini painting live stream. Listen, we have a lot of debates on philosophy and ethics in this stream. Guys, just say you stare at their asses. It's fine. The amount of times I see, like, random posts online, like, from, allegedly, cis straight guys who are like, what do you mean it's not normal to, like, imagine yourself as a woman? And it's like, interesting. You might not be trans, but you definitely might not be completely cis. And that's okay. That's all right. Did you see that Pragmata Freak? Okay, listen. I don't care how fun the game is. It gives me the ick. The ethics of which 40k baddie would be the best to date. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? Wait, what is this? John, what? The official Pragmata account has blocked me from making a post calling out Diana's censored design. I'm gonna fucking freak out. John writes, my big worry with seeing this game was that I knew people were going to be weird about Diana and always happy to be proven right. He was, in fact, not happy. I fucking hate humans, man. I hate it. What game? Pragmata, that new Capcom game where they were like, what if we made a NASA space game with like hacking mechanics and stuff, but also you take care of this little girl. And it's like, oh, okay, Sure. But then fucking freaks are out here. Criminals are out here going like, yeah, like, fuck off, dude. This is so... I hate it. I had a conversation with a friend of mine where I was like, I don't know. I feel like if I meet or interact with anybody and they're like, yeah, I play Pragmata, I'm going to assume something. My mind isn't going to go to, you're a fan of this game. I'm going to be like, okay. What part of the game did you like? And they were very like, they're like, no, you can't just assume that about people. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I forgot Pragmata existed. I think it'll exist for about a week. Because honestly, I deadass didn't even know it came out. When did it come out? Pragmata. Release date. It came out 2 days ago. I haven't heard anything. But also, it's not in my circle. Like, it's a game that I don't really have any interest in, so it makes sense that I haven't had any interactions with it or whatever, you know? Carrie sent me a very relatable meme. Unsure if D&D friend... Oh, did you edit this? She edited this? Unsure if VO friend is flirting. So, out of game, so I ask. He is. He is. We date for 4 years long distance and are basically engaged. He's ready to move to my state. We need to plan for flying over our anxious snake. That is what it's like. That is what it's like. Chat, that's not the assumption I was meaning to imply. The implication I was talking about with Pragmata is that my first reaction is going, oh, Pragmata. And I hate that that is the, I don't like that that is my go-to. I don't know. It's like that one horror game that came out. I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, oh, is that the one with like the incest? And he got really mad at me. He was like, it's only one of the endings. And I was like, dude. Dude, be so fucking for real, man. Come on. I've fallen in love with the Shiva Oblivion from FF14. It's a good track.
You do a bunch of fucked up things in your horror game, but you do the incest route even once!
I think that's it, John. Yeah, I think that's the one. Oh, man. Hey, chat, with these painting things, I think we're gonna move forward with not having them in the background of the videos. Because I thought about it, and I looked, I revisited the Magnus video, and I was like, I understand people who are like, this is really comfy, but I also understand the people who are like, it feels a little too busy. I think going forward, we're gonna just go with bare bones images, art, yada, yada, yada. There's only some incest, a tasteful amount. The way he was talking about it was like that. That was crazy. He was like, it sounded like he was one sentence away from like, but it's not that bad though. Meet the middle, timelines, paint plays at the end. I mean, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. There was only some tasteful incest. Oh no, chat, the painting streams aren't gonna stop. I'm just saying, the footage might not be used in the videos going forward. We'll see though. Every time somebody likes a George R. R. Martin thing, I'm like, my initial reaction is a side-eyed, like, I just think Jamie and Cersei are such a cute couple. No, man, no. No! I moderate another Discord and we had to ban Andy and Laylee art and profile pictures because Jesus Christ. The player's thinly disguised fetish. The author's overtly undisguised fetish. The author's very, very, very loud fetish. What is this scary? Cry because this dog donated his blood to save another pup and he looks so happy. Girl, he don't know what the hell going on. It's not thinly disguised. Oh. I think we should be allowed to do this to people. This is what this could either be me and you, chat, or chat and then me at any given moment. Dude, they fucking harassed him, dude. They fucking I remember how Game of Thrones, Jaime Lannister threw away his character development to get back with his... Dude, genuinely, I sometimes get recommended the scene where he's with Brienne in the... It's not a pool. It's like a hot tub, kind of. It's like a medieval hot tub. They're in the fucking hot tub, right? And that fucking monologue he has. Oh! Excellent. And it fucking sucks to see that development happen and then see, like, the backtracking. It's like a hot spring, but it's, like, in a building. I don't know how you... I never watched Game of Thrones TBH. It always seemed fanfiction-y, I guess. What... I guess my question to you would be, what is your definition of fan fiction? It's a bathhouse. That's the right word. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, they're in the bathhouse, and he's like, he goes on that whole monologue. It's like, wow, you're a really interesting character. Great character moment. And then just to combo it with, nah, actually. Seems like a big theme in that series. I mean, from the show. I haven't read the books, but I don't know. Nobody's doing it like my boy Sir Duncan the Tall, though. That's my fucking guy. That's my fucking guy right there. I would never be a simp. Are there no true knights among you? At your service, my liege. My god. Duncan the GOAT. That's fucking right. That's damn true. That's damn true. Duncan's my guy. Never got into Game of Thrones. Not my interest, I'm afraid. And then I watched it crash and burn and got ranted at it. Got ranted at by my friends who did like it, so I'm not going to interact with that like concepts. I get that. I think if you have any passing interest, though, at least give like the first episode a watch. Because again, I don't think just because something ends poorly doesn't mean that there was nothing there. Like, I don't think... there's nothing of worth just because something ends poorly. You know what I mean? Like, if you have an ending that kind of sucks, but the first half of, like, be it a movie or a show or whatever, is, like, fucking awesome, I think it's still worth it. And then you just be like, yeah, that ending sucked. What the fuck is it? What? Carrie's sending me Nikki's screenshots, and what in the Zoshia am I fucking looking at, brother? What is this? I don't think I want to watch it even if it ended well. I mean, yeah. That just means you don't really care. Like, that's... Yeah. I don't give a single fuck about One Piece. And I tried to get into it. I don't care how many people scream at me that it's peak. Like, it's not my thing. 40 more gigabytes of space, yeah. I'm begging the Infinity Nikki devs to learn how to compress files. Jesus Christ. Ava personally stabbed Monkey D. Luffy. Maybe I did. Him and that fuck-ass face of his. It is, I think, really bad for... I think discussing media now, right at this current moment, is the most frustrating thing on the planet because... there are only 3 categories. There's peak, there's mid, and then there is abysmal dog shit. There is no nuance whatsoever, and I think that's a big problem, and it's gonna be a problem forever. There's no such thing as mixed feelings. I do want to watch the live action show. I'm down to watch it. Also, you're gonna deal with the culture war weirdos slash grifters? Yeah, but the less you say about them, the better. Listen, if you watch, like, grifters, I just think you're kind of dumb. Like, I don't think you're very smart. I don't think you can do critical thinking or independent thought. The real problem is that people think all media has to be made for them. Sure. And I understand that. It gets a little complicated when you start talking about things like Warhammer, because you have a lot of culture war freaks who come by and they're like, it's not for women. It's like, well, actually Warhammer's for children, actually. Like, technically it's for everybody, because its demographic is from like 10-year-olds to people in their it's like fucking Lego, bro. It's like you gotta be what, like 9 to 99 or whatever. Like, that's the fucking age for Warhammer. And when you're a company trying to get as much money as possible, yeah, you're probably gonna also be like, hey, you know, like 52% of the global population who we're not targeting, maybe we should target them and they might buy our products. And you might say that's a kind of cynical way of looking at it, but from a business perspective, that makes perfect sense. For kids with these prices? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the One Piece is getting a remake anime from what the hell was the studio? It was the studio that did the first few seasons of Attack on Titan. The name escapes me, but it's that studio doing it, and you know. Is this the new Nikki stuff? Yeah. That's another Ava take. Which part? I've seen more clapbacks against the media grifters in recent years, so that makes me feel good as someone who got caught in the pipeline for a small bit. I mean, it doesn't help that YouTube literally incentivizes the pipeline. Like there was a not, I wouldn't call it a study, but there was like an experiment that a YouTuber did where it was like, okay, I'm making like a brand new Google account. I'm making a brand new YouTube account. I'm going to see how fast does the pipeline to like alt-right shit happen. And it is immediate. It is crazy how fast you get into the pipeline. And I'm thinking like, I was a dumbass teenager one day ago. One day in the past, I was a dumbass teenager. I was in that pipeline for a bit. And so I'm thinking about it now going like, damn, that's crazy. The part where you said all the wrong things? Ava, you turned 20 yesterday. Wild. I'm 25, chat. I haven't been 20 in a while. Watching a lot of 40k things lately. Wrath and Glory and now Black Legion, TTRPG or whatever it's called. It ain't bad. Would try to play Red Corsairs. Alt-right Ava isn't real. He can't get... My hair forms like Jotaro. My hair Jotaro's into a red MAGA cap.
Women! Life because of consumption!
Theoretically draft eligible? Nope. Nope. I have mental illness, according to the government. I have ADHD. I am also the only child of... I'm technically the only child... It gets weird because I have, like, divorced parents, right? I am the only male assigned at birth child of my biological parents. My dad never had any more kids. Oh my god, Chad. My dad called me yesterday. My dad called me yesterday. Oh, I also have, like, diagnosed depression and shit, so that probably also helps. Anyway, my dad called me yesterday. We were catching up, and I was talking to him about because, like, you know, it was taxes and stuff. I was like, did you get your taxes and stuff all done? He was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got all mine done this year, and I gotta go back and do a couple things for 2024 because I completely missed it. I ADHD'd, and I gotta do some back taxes stuff. And he was like, I don't think you should. And I went, I was like, what is going on, man? First, my mom was like, you don't need. Then my fucking dad going like, you don't need to file them. And I'm like, Dad, I didn't say this to him, but I was like, I don't really trust that you say that because you're also the guy who told me, like, yeah, voting doesn't matter. Jesus Christ. Not advice. Oh. Oh. He was like, you weren't technically employed. And I was like, I have a call with a lady tomorrow. I got to get my expenses done later today for 2024. I just got to go through some receipts and shit. But I have a call with her tomorrow. We're going to call. And then I'm like, basically the point of the call is to go like, hey, what do we need to do, if anything? Because 2024 was a strange year. Because that was the first year I was like actually self-employed, but also it was a really bumpy, inconsistent year. Ava, I'm serious. Your mom and dad are just crazy. No, they're just kind of uneducated, which isn't bad. I'm uneducated on a lot of stuff. Some people just aren't. Some people are uneducated on a lot of things. Some people are uneducated on very specific things. It's not a bad thing to be not educated. But they're not really educated when it comes to tax stuff. And that makes a lot of sense because they have, like, normal jobs with W-2s and things. So they're like, well, me child, me son, you actually are, like, living large. You get to do all this stuff. And, like, I think they don't know. They just don't know. And that's fine. That's okay. My family has said some crazy shit in the past that I'm like, oh, yeah, y'all are definitely, Gen X, huh? They have a lot of, older views, you know what I mean? Like, we've talked about how my mom works for the Department of Labor, and she's like, people just aren't working. And I'm like, you more than anybody should understand what is happening and why this is going on. You literally more than any person that I know should understand how fucked up it is at the moment. Is this the dad that watches Joe Rogan, or is that a different one? I don't know if my biological father watches Joe Rogan, but he did at one point when I was talking about really struggling with my ADHD. I believe this was last year in 2024. Or sorry, God. This was in 2024. And I was talking about him struggling with ADHD and like trying to focus and like get things done. And he was like, yeah, you should just take these brain supplements. And I look them up. They're from Joe Rogan. They're like $80, and it's just a fucking multivitamin that's branded and $80. And I was like, Dad, Dad, no. Alpha Brain? I think that was it. Either way, not good. Yeah, listen, my family is like... It's weird, right? Because I think a lot of their views just simply come from the fact that they are uneducated. My sister and my mom, we agree on a lot of women's rights. I agree with a lot of women's rights when I talk to my mom. But then we start talking about, like, labor issues or minority issues, and suddenly she's like, well, I think this. And I'm like, I don't think you have actually thought about that. And that sounds really bad, Mom. You can't say that. She's like, no, it's fine. I have a coworker who's from Haiti. Ah! If they wanted to be here, they should have just gone through the correct processes. They should have gone through the correct way. What if that way wasn't offered to them? What if the US makes that way intentionally very difficult and extremely time-consuming and also very costly? It's less being a bigot and more they don't understand. I mean, not understanding and being a bigot go hand in hand. That's the thing. That's sort of like a lot of bigoted people, all bigoted people are just uneducated at a base. They're also stupid, which I think is different, personally. She hits you with the I've got a minority friend. Did we do the right way in 1607? It was our God-given right. I think they go hand in hand. Yeah, for sure. But, like... What's your family thoughts on your miniature collection? Mine think that there's just Legos, but uglier. My family, every time it's always brought up, I'm like, yeah, I've been working on it. They're like, wow, they're so small. Like, they don't really have any. My family isn't very artsy. You know what I mean? They're not very artsy. They're your classic, like, Americana, fucking pull yourself up by your bootstraps, yada, yada, yada. They have bought into the American exceptionalism full-throated. They are fully into the America #1 type mentality. Which is fine. It's okay to be proud of your country, but it's also, like, ridiculous to be like, actually, my country has no problems whatsoever. And that's where I'm like, I don't know about that. I remember, I think I've told this story on stream, where I was describing, I can't remember what we were arguing about, but I was talking to my folks, and we were just like, we had a bit of an argument about, like, some sort of policy. I can't remember what regarding. And I was describing, and I was a teenager at the time, and I was describing something, how I felt things should work, and how things could be better for society at large. And looking back on it, I was 100%, I was describing socialism. And not as socialism was done in history, which wasn't socialism. I'm talking like actual socialism. Or socialist policies. And my stepfather screamed, "You're a communist." And I thought he was going to cry. So this is like the person, the type of people we're dealing with. Like very Gen X. Like they were raised by boomer folks, and they were raised on the whole thing of like, you know, communism is the enemy. It's big, scary, yada, yada, yada. Like, you know. They're your typical Midwestern American family, is what I'm trying to say. Should we be proud of this? Proud of you for boomer baiting. I'm just sitting there. I'm the fucking... I am the noble chimpanzee, and they are the furious lion. The Cold War did more social damage to America than most other wars did. Physical damage to America. Yeah. I wouldn't say that's incorrect. One second, I'm checking something. You know what I realized, chat? I forgot to do something. I forgot to prime the minis, but that's all good. That'll take like, what, 10 seconds? I just gotta head outside for a sec. But I gotta do this. I just think society should look out for the people living in it. That's ultimately like what my argument was. And I was screamed that I was a communist, which was very funny. I think we were talking about medical care. I think that was the argument. But it happened like 7 years ago. I can't remember. If I had to guess, it was probably medical care.
Alright, chat. I'm gonna get this prime going.
In all the melodies, all tears are faded.
I think we should make good, improve society somewhat. What? Ah, but you participate to make good in society. I am very smart.
Skaven is like, I think we should improve society somewhat, and the other Skaven's like, I should fucking kill you. What if we just ate them? What's that? I'm getting the camera set up. Do not disturb. Get some water. Here, B. Disgusting non-binary political Warhammer streamer made their opinion. We should be allowed to kill them. 'Tis the only thing to do. Alright, chat, let me show you what we've been up to. We got some rat ogres. We got a lot of little clan rats. We're doing Clan Molder, chat. What's Clan Molder? It's the Frankenstein rats. They just tape shit together and just go, fuck it. And I think that's pretty cool. Some of these are not finished. They are within the ugly phase. Here's a Scryer Warplock Engineer. Now, we are going to be doing like the slap chop method of painting these guys, and I'll tell you why, because I don't have enough time in my life to care about every little clan rat. And frankly, I think when you put this little guy next to this guy, and you've seen how I do the Stormcast, they look like they fit within the same world. You know what I mean? So I like it. And some people will go like, oh, it looks messy, it looks desaturated. Yeah, that's what I want. I want it to look desaturated and messy and dirty. These are Skaven, bro. They're Skaven. They're supposed to be messy and dirty. So we're going to be using a lot of contrast paints. And we're going to use the slap chop painting technique. Now, first off, I need to make sure that these primed minis have a full base coat of black on them. There's no primer showing through. I'm still going to give them a bit to cure so that the primer can actually adhere to the plastic. So, the thing with contrast paints, especially when you're doing it like this, you gotta treat them like they're watercolor. So we're gonna be doing a lot of like thinning with Lamy and medium, thinning with water. I'd recommend thinning with Lamy and medium though, because if you thin with water, it causes the paint to actually separate. Whereas Lamy and medium, you're just adding more pigment. Well, you're not adding any pigment. You're adding a paint formula with no pigment in it. So you're thinning down the paint without causing the pigment to actually separate. So that's what we'll be doing here. Yeah, so there's a bit of primer showing on these guys. Okay. So here's our process. We're gonna make sure they're all based in coal black. We're gonna use Army paint or uniform gray to dry brush over that, and then bold titanium white to dry brush over that. What I'll be using for the most part is this dry brush. It's a pretty big one from the Army painter. Don't buy these types of dry brushes from branded things like the Army painter though, and I'll tell you why, because they're way too expensive for what they are. Just get something like a makeup brush or something. We're also going to be using this. This is a regular makeup brush. This will be for the white. I'm going to just get a little teeny tiny bit of water, work it into the brush. We want the brush to be just a little bit damp. I am only going to be painting one clan rat today, just to show you the process. And then hopefully you learn something. Now the question is, what clan rat are we going to be painting? I think this guy would be pretty good because he's actually got the Skaven symbol on the shield. It's pretty much showing how to paint every part of the Skaven. Because we've got the fur, we've got the nose and stuff, we've got the armor, we've got the wood. Yeah, I think this would be a good contender for our painting process today. So let's do that guy. Let's do this gentleman. Wherever will I get a makeup brush? Said as she stares at a literal bucket of old makeup tools. Yeah. Yeah. So, Clan Molder, if you look at all the old art, because now they're like more bold colors, which makes sense, but personally, I like the old colors more, so we're going with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like this tan, dirty, yellow, satin, gross undershirt, and then the hoods are supposed to be red. Now, why are they red? Well, other than visual clarity and visual interest, it is also because, according to the lore, Clan Molder trains their creations like rat ogres. They train them to not actually attack rats that have the red hood, so that if the rat ogre is hungry for whatever reason, they'll target other clan rats or other Skaven that aren't part of the clan, meaning that our numbers can stay relatively high. Okay. Before anything, we need to make sure that we are fully base coated in a black paint. So I'm going to take a big brush, and we're going to take coal black. Again, with this one, unlike most of my other things, there's no fancy washes, no enamels, none of that. We're doing pure acrylics. No toxic metallic alcohol paints where you have to use isopropyl alcohol to thin it. None of that. None of that today. No, no, no. I tried using lacquer paints the other day, and I couldn't imagine doing a whole army like that. Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody using lacquer paints. I haven't heard of that. While that paint is drying, I am shaking up. Oh, so it doesn't die halfway through the stream. This evil, non-binary Warhammer streamer keeps talking about politics, insisting that their existence is political. Let's kill them! Oh, this is really annoying. This setup is frustrating. I wish I had a better one. How will I get a better one? Maybe I'll figure something out. Honestly, like, the biggest problem is the microphone. Ideally, I would have 2 mics. I'm gonna be real. Because if I had another mic and I could actually have it on, like, a hand and then be able to go back to the desk for that one, that'd be perfect. But the way things are now, I have it on, like, a portable stand, and so I bring it around wherever I need to go. But that's fine. Paint is still drying. That's okay. I'm actually going to use a smaller brush than this. You know what? We're going to use this. We're going to use our makeup sponge. So something about this big for our gray, and then we'll use the smaller side for the white. Gray, white. Gray, white. Does Bricky do painting streams? I don't think so. But I don't know. I could be wrong. It's almost done drying. Now, our main focus is going to be getting pretty much anything that we're going to want to be a color that isn't metal. So the skin / fur, the robes, the feet, the tail, the shield. If it's not fully covering, that's fine, because when we add a contrast paint over that, it'll just look like it's shadow. So for example, like the inside of this rat, you can see like, that's just black in there. The gray paint couldn't get in there. And it creates this like, sort of grimdark looking art style where it's like, oh, he's just like in shadow. Hunched little creature, you know? Same thing with this guy you see here. That's all black on the inside. But it creates like these really dramatic shadows, you know what I mean? This one's a little less apparent, but like you can still kind of see it, especially you can see it here, right next to the shield. Like, that's just mostly black. But I still put contrast paint over that. And it still tints it a little bit. But yeah. He's almost fully dry. Oh, chat. Also, if you wanted to know how to do warpstone, we're going to do the dry brushing thing where we work from black, gray, white. Just take Tesseract Glow the technical paint. A lot of people use it for Necrons. I just get it on there. The paint is so thin that you can actually get it into the cracks, which, here, let me... You can run them into the cracks, which gives a really convincing looking glow. I would personally have them only around the warp stone, not necessarily like around the muscles like this. You can kind of see it's slightly green tinted because I did put the Tesseract glow in there, and then I wiped it away. It did end up giving like this slightly green tint to some of the things there, which I don't dislike, but at the same time, you know, I think it's a lot more striking if it's just around where the warp stone is. This is an old trick. Yep. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. Uniform gray. Or any, like, lightish gray. I'm going to show you how to do this. I just have a little bit on my bristles. I don't really want it to streak. And now I'm just trying to go up and down, side to side, trying to catch those edges. Don't feel like you need to do just one pass with this step. You can do multiple. But you want to really make sure you get all the skin and the cloth and the whatnot. There's also a little rat here at his feet. Once that's complete, already, like, honestly, you put that on the table, just say they're, like, in darkness. That's pretty cool looking already. Now we're going to take some time to have the paint dry. I'm going to wash off my brush by just soaking it, wiping it off, and then just like a normal dry brush. Just like this. That's how you clean a dry brush. You just soak it, and then, like you're using it, just get it out. So despite the name dry brushing, still give the paint a little bit of time to dry. Because if we just went in immediately with the next step, we would probably remove some of the gray that's on there, and it would get streaky, and it wouldn't look very good. Okay. Bold titanium white from Pro Acryl. The best white on the market. Pro Acryl. Give me an affiliate link. I like your stuff. Affiliate link. Collaboration. I don't care. Let's do something. Okay. Now I'm using the smaller brush. And again, I'm only getting a teeny tiny bit on the tip. Let's go. Again, you could do multiple passes if you like. Make sure to get that tail, top of the head. Pretty much anything you want to be in light. Or lighter when we go over our next steps. That's our underpainting. It's as easy as that, chat. Now we have a base for our contrast paints. So, with this, we're gonna do the robes first. What funny rap book would you recommend? Skaven Slayer was fun. I've heard that the Thanquil books are pretty good. We're going to use, for the robes, we're going to use a mix of Lamian medium and snakebite leather. Why Lamian medium? I'll tell you why. Because we're just mixing a paint with no pigment in it. What does that mean, Ava? I'll tell you. It means we're going to thin the paint without having the pigment actually get weaker. Like, it won't separate as easily. Again, like the last step, we want to give the Skaven some time to dry. Most of our next steps are going to be contrast paints. So buckle up. I would err on going thinner with contrast paints as an application than thicker. Especially for this next step, because snakebite leather, when you put it on, look at the shield here. That's pure snakebite leather. That's undiluted, no Lamian medium whatsoever. It's this brownish yellow color, right? But the robe here is also snakebite leather, but thinned down with Lamian medium. You can get a lot of mileage by just thinning your paints. Is contrast-less speed paint acrylic based? Yes. Army painter and Citadel only make acrylic-based paints. Since we're only doing one mini, here's what I'm going to do. Scooping like one brushful, 2 brushfuls. Lamian medium. About 2 drops. So 2 brushfuls, 2 drops. About 1 to 1. That's about what we want it. I want to apply it very thinly. We're essentially adding a filter over the robes. If some areas are splotchy or some areas get onto other areas, whatever. It's a Skaven. They're dirty. They're gross. Follow through and cover all the robes with this color. Okay. We're going to let that dry fully. Now, I covered everything, despite the fact that our Skaven is going to have a red hood. And that's because giving the tan a base coat and then covering it with the red, it'll actually make the red look a little less bold. It'll go toward more of a warm tone. And again, that's pure snakebite leather. That's the exact same paint as what we have just covered on this guy's robes. That is the same paint color, just thinned down. Next, we are going to use Gilliman Flesh on the tail, the nose, and the ears. Snakebite leather is such a nice color. I use it on all my orcs. It's pretty good. Like, snakebite leather, all of, like, the brown contrast paints, especially if you want, like, more of a grimdark kind of, like, John Blanche art style, it's perfect. Because then you can get some really interesting, like, almost canvas-looking things. Like this, again, I took snakebite leather, thinned it a bit, covered this, and then, like, splotched on some, like, rattling grime at the bottom of it. I plan on doing some symbols and stuff on there, too. This is just dry brushed from the same steps that we did the dry brushing for the Skaven, and then a thin application of snakebite leather over that. And we got this really cool, tattered, dirty looking cloth. It looks like these little guys have been scrapping around, like they found these materials and are just like, whatever. Gilliman flesh. This is going to be for the tail, ears, nose. Oh, sorry. I was not on camera. Okay. We're gonna let that dry. If you wanted white furred rats, honestly, stop here. Because that's it, right? What I did with my gray seer is I got to that point, I covered it in basilicanum gray, and then I went back to bold titanium white, and then I actually, because it's a character, right? I took a small brush and actually went through and highlighted and touched every bit of fur so that his fur was like very, very white, you know? I still need to work on the cloak a little bit because I'd like some difference between the collar and the actual robe itself. I might cover it with like a grayish blue tint. But we'll see. Either way, I think so far my gray seer looks really cool. While we wait for this to dry, we're gonna We're gonna move over to the fur color, which we're gonna make in Cygor Brown. We're gonna mix Cygor Brown with a bit of Lamian Medium. I would recommend brown and variations of brown mixed with Cygor Brown mixed with snakebite leather, Cygor Brown mixed with Gore Grunta fur. Just mix it with a bunch of other colors, even like Skaven Blight Dinge or Basilicanum Gray. Mix it with all sorts of colors so you get a bunch of variations in your browns. Because if you do that, you'll have a lot more variety in your Skaven colors. And be fast and loose with it. Whatever, you know, these are just like little clan rats. If they're not all the same color brown or whatever, that's fine. But you shouldn't make them black. Don't make them black or white furred, and I'll tell you why. If you're going for like a normal, lore-accurate Skaven army, black furred Skaven are the Storm Vermin, and the white furred Skaven are Grey Seers. Now, there could be exceptions, and you can paint your army however you want, but generally speaking, that is the thing. Most Skaven will be variations of gray and brown, maybe blonde, if you wanted to be like kind of weird with some of them. But for the most part, you're looking at brown. What color is the little rat at the base? We're going to make that one gray. We're going to make that one... we're going to color that one Rattling Grime because it's like a very brownish gray kind of dirty look. If you did Basilicanum Gray, you would get a fur that looks like this. So like look around the face here. That's what your Basilicanum Gray fur looks like. Your Rattling Grime... was this Rattling Grime? This, I think, was also Basilicanum Gray. Either way. Oh, wait. This was Rattling Grime. The Storm Vermin here was Rattling Grime, and you can see it around his face. Excuse me. It's a very dark gray-brown that reads as black, but not, like, too black, you know what I mean? Excuse me, sorry. But I think all the rats should be, like, your classic gray, dark brown type rat. The normal rats, I mean. Cygor Brown. I'm going to mix this 1-to-1 in a similar way that we did with our cloth. I'm going to do it here. 1, 2 brushfuls. A lot of this is eyeballing it. Eyeballing the ratios. You want to get like a rough equivalency. It doesn't have to be perfect because, again, variation in Skaven is the spice of life. 1, 2... I also have Wildwood, which I used for one of the rat ogres. It's more of a darker brown compared to Cygor. Cygor Brown, I would say, is more of an earthy tone. Well, I don't know. I don't really know how you would describe it. Wildwood is darker, and I use it mostly for wood. But it's there if you want it. Okay. Similar to what we did with the other parts, we're just gonna thinly... If we get a little bit on the ears or the nose, that's actually fine, because it'll help blend them into one another. Quick scan to make sure we got everything. But yeah, that's Cygor Brown. Thinned down a little bit, but we're going to let that dry. And already, chat, that's most of the Skaven done. We're going to go to Blood Angels Red. Can you dry brush contrast paint? No! No, 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 no. No, you cannot. Blood Angels red. I'm not thinning this with Lamy medium, but I don't want very much on the brush. And we're just gonna look around for that top cowl right here. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the leather. It's a very fast process. Leather. Gorgonta fur. Contrast paint. There's very little leather. We're going to do it on the sword hilt and then the belt going across the thing. We're not going to do it for the sack, though. Actually, yes, we are. Well, no, because you know what? We're actually going to do Cygor Brown. Same color as the skin on the little bag. I'm applying a bit thicker than I did with the skin. That muffin is looking awfully like a hamster. Possum, it's glummy. Gorgonta fur, not thinned down with any Lamia medium. I've also been using like one brush this entire process. I finally got it out of my head and was able to function a bit. I was like, it's glummy. Dude, it sounds like he's in a war zone. Like he's being punished for saying it. It's glummy. Ah! Oh, man. Next, we're going to shade the nose, ears, and tail with Berserker Blood Shade. We're going to make it look like there's a bit of blood flowing in those parts, because that's where like a lot of red would actually be with these like little creatures, like Ritoras. Berserker Blood Shade. Not thin down whatsoever. literally need barely a drop of this. Need some water to wipe off the nose just a little bit. Okay. What else is left? You know what we can do? We could take that same paint, Berserker Bloodshade, and we can get the little tiny rat, his nose, and his ears. And his little tail. Next color. Rattling Grime. This is just for the little tiny rat, his feet, and also the claws of the Skaven. Rattling Grime. I just need about a drop of this. And we're just gonna go to the little rat. Don't worry too much about the feet of the rat or the Skaven. Because we should probably add a different gray over this, but it's fine. Whatever. Like a more solid tone, I mean to say. That's okay. I got some skin tone on there, and that's alright. So far, though, Skaven's looking pretty snazzy. Let's get that wood, and then we're gonna move over to the what's it called? Metallics. Now metallics, when we do them, it's gonna be a method of base coat, wash, highlight. Nothing fancy. Very simple, very straightforward. It's gonna give this battered, dirty looking metal. I love how it looks. Very gross. Before that, though, we do have some other things to do. Such as getting the wood on the shield. Wildwood. You know what? I'm also going to put this in the mouth. And I'll tell you why. Because we're going to have to highlight the teeth anyway. So I'd rather get them now. and just poke at them with some bone-colored paint. Then have to base coat, then wash, and whatever. We'll get the tongue in a second, too. Undiluted wildwood. And again, like all contrast paints, you can thin this down, get a slightly different result, or sometimes a very different result, as we saw with Snakebite Leather. Chat, how would you feel the camera going over my left shoulder rather than my right? Because it's my dominant hand. So you would actually be able to see more. So I'm noticing I, just in painting, am accidentally blocking a lot. Also, just getting a better camera will help because, Jesus Christ, the zoom, bro! We can also use wildwood to fill in some of the details, like the little patches on the cloak here. Mount the camera to your forehead. Maybe. You're going on a journey with me, chat. Let's get that mouth filled in. You can use any color for this, really. I'm gonna use Screamer Pink or another sort of burgundy color would work. I just need a drop of it, quite literally. I just realized you could probably also do Gilman flesh for the tongue. That'd probably look good. What next? You know what? Let's do the eyes, because this guy only has one eye, and then this little ratto has an eye. I'm switching to a smaller brush. Teeny tiny. We're going back to Blood Angels Red when that dries. I'm also going to grab our metallics and start shaking that. Try to do it in such a way that like a little bit comes off so that there's a little bit of a highlight right where the Skaven is looking. Okay. What else needs to be done? The teeth. Let's do the teeth right now. That's gonna be done with... Nope. Ancient stone. Going back to our small brush, same one that we did the eyes with. Now there are teeth on the small rat. You could do them. You could also skip them. Your choice. feel like with Skaven, like not just the eyes, but the teeth getting colored in make the whole model come to life. You know what I mean? But with that, we're done with the main Skaven. Now it's just metallics. And honestly, hey, if you didn't get a whole lot of contrast paint on your metals, and you're like, hey, I actually really like how this like dry brushed gray to white looks. It's got a weird kind of like non-metallic metal quality to it. Yeah, keep it like this. Screw it. Magnesium. It's time for the metallics. We have to worry about the chainmail between the skirt, obviously the shield, the weapon, and the back plate. Woo! There's a bit of water on the palette, which means that it immediately separated. That's okay, though. Doing the chainmail, just take your time and be careful. If you don't get every single link, that's okay. Wait for that to dry, but we're gonna wash it. That's right, chat, we're using a wash. Ava, known wash hater. We're using Agrax Earthshade. I hate washes, but for a good reason. I do not like how they dry shiny, but because this is a metal, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't be afraid of applying this a bit heavily compared to the other steps that we've done. Because, again, it's a Skaven. Dirty is good. Skaven don't take care of their weapons. So why should you? Let that dry. It'll take like maybe... give it about 4 minutes. 4 minutes maybe. Ooh, excuse me. So chat, we've been painting for like maybe an hour. We've gone from this black base coat to a pretty much fully painted clan rat in 1 hour. Now imagine, if you will, batch painting like 10 at a time. Very easy. You won't get like instant results of like, oh my god, the mini is finished. But you will get the satisfaction of, okay, all the leather is done, all the cloth is done, all the metals are done. And then when they're all done in a big group, you're gonna be like, oh shit. Chat, while we wait for this swash to dry, I can crash out about something. Okay, company heroes. Of which this gentleman is a part of. The official box art has them painted. All with blue helmets. Including the ancient. Here's the problem. These are all supposed to be veterans, but for the fucking box art, they just gave them blue helmets, which is not Codex compliant. I'm starting to think there are no rules, Shirt Brother. Shirt Brother, I'm starting to think there are no rules. I'm gonna crash the fuck out. Look at that metal dry. At least on the shield and stuff. And by the time we get to the other parts, it'll be dry as well. I'm gonna go to my teeny tiny itty bitty brush. This is the last step we're doing. This is my itty bitty brush that I use for everything, especially edge highlights. But it's slowly becoming a metallic edge highlighting brush, which is fine. That's okay. Is $170. What the fuck, mate? Wait, company champions? I got them in a combat patrol. Fuck that. silver. This is the part where we edge highlight all of the metals, add scratches and stuff if you want. Oh, we didn't watch the chainmail. That's what I was forgetting. Oh, you were thinking honored at the chapter. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Be very fast and loose with these chips and scratches and stuff. getting most of the paint off my brush now. And I'm just gonna approach, chainmail, and just touch. I'm just touching. I'm not trying to highlight every link. I'm just poking. And then when some of them are highlighted, I think that's good enough. Hey chat, other than basing, that's a done Skaven. I told you, it's fast, it's easy, and that's it. Wait, let's get the finished ones. And immediately blend it into the crowd. Pretty cool, huh? Easy peasy. Nothing to it. And again, all these techniques, the exact same paints, used on things like rat ogres or characters. Sometimes different paints, like with Clan Scryer here. If you had any warpstone, you'd use Tesseract Glow. If you had any brass, you'd probably just, honestly, base coat it in silver and then just use snakebite leather over it. Because we already showed how, like, it's a leather yellowish type deal, right? So just put it over that. It'll look like a tarnished kind of brass. Easy.
Chad, now I don't know about you. I think the Skaven are fucked in this scenario.
But yeah, that's how to paint a Skaven. Obviously, this is just like clan molder colors. If you wanted, you could like switch out some of the color. Like, honestly, the beige, dirty cream. What would you call that? Like cloak? No, like the The shirt being a cream is a good base, and then the red part could be black or purple or green or whatever. Orange. Be whatever clan you want it to be. But having that sort of cream base will really help. You could even have it be just completely beige, like these guys. I guess I've sort of reasoned that they're like Skaven slaves, so, you know, they don't really even... They're not even clan rats. They don't get the colors. That's why I like underpainting, is because it's fast and satisfying and gives a pretty darn good results. Yep. No, exactly. Like, I wanted to do this type of painting for the Skaven specifically because it does, like, look pretty... It's good, especially for Horde armies like this. Like, it gives that desaturated, kind of dirty, grimdark sort of look, especially, like, on the cloak here. And I really like it, especially for Skaven. It makes them look dirty and gross and ew. And it's perfect. And if you wanted to go further than this, if you wanted to, like, go in and add better edge highlights or more layering, you can. You don't have to have this be the final step. In fact, there's something here that I want to touch up on. This guy has some little studs on his hood that I want to touch up. That's it. Should nids be glossy if you want them to be? But also, on that note, I've talked about I don't like how contrast paints dry a little waxy. Like there's a bit of a satin finish to it, as you can see here.
But I could just go outside and varnish this with a matte varnish,
and all my problems are solved. And I might do that once these are all done, obviously. There's a bunch of different Skaven minis that you can do these types of techniques with, obviously. The best advice I can give with the Skaven army is just have fun with it. Be messy. Be messy. Be gross. Be bold. Make weird, like, decisions that give you, like, really muddy, dirty colors. Because, I mean, that's what Skaven are all about. Make them gross. Make them disgusting. But that's it. Chat. Thank you all for coming on by and watching me paint a Skaven. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't learn anything and you just enjoyed your time here, I hope you you did that. I hope you enjoyed your time. Obviously no other stream today. It's a Sunday. It's basically my weekend. I wanted to do this just because I wanted to paint a Skaven on stream. Carius sent me the next Infinity Nikki thingamabob. I will show you now. That's not it. What the? Jesus Christ. A nice, fun, short afternoon stream. Yeah, I wanted this to be, like, pretty quick. But yeah. Thanks for coming by, everybody. I'm excited for Infinity Nikki when we get back to it. Thanks for coming on by. If you enjoy our stuff, support us on all the links and whatnot. Yeah, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you enjoy yours too. Have a great time, everybody, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.